Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
I'm Dylan Belcher.
I'm Jake Ratliff.
I'm Marcus Chaney.
I'm Elijah Purvis.
And we are Mirrored Image, and you're listening to
BODS Mayhem Hour.
Woo!
The views and opinions of the guests do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather. As always, I'm bringing you guys and gals awesome interviews. Today, it's an honor and a privilege to welcome back the band Mirror Image. We're going to be talking to them about their second album and follow-up to 2017's The Pursuit of Happiness, their new album, Prisoner, which is out now. So we've got Dylan, we've got Mark, we've got the Perv, and we got Jake. And Perv's looking at me weird. The pimp Perv, as I should say. So how's it going, guys?
Good.
Doing good?
Good. Glad to have you back on the show. So you guys have been pretty busy since the last time that you were on here working on this new album. Plus you've had a lot of shows and looks like you've had some member change. Let's jump right into this. What's impressed or excited you all the most about making this new album, Prisoner, if anything? What's jumped out about it the most for you all?
Just basically taking stuff like synths and all that. I mean, we had no idea how to use them, but I started listening to electronic music, and we had Jake in the band, so I figured let's just do it. Let's just make an electronic album. Synth pop. Hillbilly synth pop.
It's a complete overhaul of the last album because our Jake was a major influence on us in changing our sound, and it was something different, and we decided to give it a try, and it worked for us.
Any songs standing out more to you guys right now than any right now possibly on this album? I mean, I know it's got to change every time that you listen to it because I know you guys are so close to them, but do each of you have a song that you like on here maybe?
Oh, yeah. We all do. I'm a fan of Klingon War Dance. I think that one has my hand in it the heaviest. We put a lot of synth parts in that. Some of them are programmed and some of them are live synths, but yeah, it's a good song. And then the lyrical content means a lot to me right now, and it's a good song. I dig it.
Either this or This Is It or Feel Better is probably my favorites. Feel Better means a whole lot to me. I had panic attacks for the longest time every time I heard it when we first started doing it. It was a rough time.
Honestly, to me, I go back and forth between Klingon and Prisoner because, Prisoner, it just basically sums up, living in the area. It's like you gotta sacrifice everything you do and go work for the hospital or go work in the mines, get married, do all the, all that stuff.
More is actually one of my favorites. It's probably one of the happier ones on that album. And, I not to brag, but I came up with a really kick-ass bass part on there. It's one of my favorites because almost anyone can dance to that one, and that's just a lot of fun, a lot of energy with that song.
Was it hard to choose between the current set of songs on this new album? Which one would be the first single that you wanted to push out there for Mirrored Image on this one?
It was crazy hard because we wanted to do either This Is It or Klingon or Prisoner, and we wanted to do more first because we figured that would be the one that people could, like the easiest. But we was like, well, if we're going to come out with this album that's completely different and going to be really weird, do we want to make kind of a statement by releasing the weirdest one we have, which I would say is This Is It? Even though, people either really like that song or they really don't like that song. So we fought with it for a long time, but eventually we just decided, fuck it, and went with This Is It.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like to me, really. We thought about more for a really long time, but it was just too obvious to make a statement. It's like, all right, yeah, this dumb pop song, which, it's a good dumb pop song, but it's a dumb pop song.
And again, it's like, we wanted to show, hey, we're a totally different band now. And, with this album, it does have its moments that are a little more rock and rolly, and it's got its moments that are more synthy, poppy, hey, let's have a good time dance. And we were like, you know what, let's think of something that when we put it out there, people will say, oh, this is a whole nother thing. So with This Is It, I think that one was a good, presentation of, hey, this is the new band, this is the new sound, this is it now, this is it. Yeah.
It's like I said earlier, this is a total different album than, The Pursuit of Happiness. The Pursuit of Happiness, you had some light, heavier songs, but now this is like, wow, where did it come from? There's some good songs on here, though. I mean, like Feel Better for sure, Prisoner, This Is It, and Klingon War Dance. There's some good stuff on here. But this is a little different, but growing is good, and I think everybody should try something new, different every time.
Sad boys for life. That's all you need to know.
Sad boys for life.
I don't know. We all had some different things going on during the making of this album, so it's like, I don't know. From pain comes good art, I guess. Is our art good? I don't know. That's up to you guys.
It was just a miserable experience making this album for me. It was just terrible. It was, the whole process was just absolutely terrible.
Oh no!
Like being in an unhappy relationship, and then, all right, it's like the start of it, bad relationship, and then like we're getting ready to release it, and then it's like, oh, divorce, sweet. The whole thing was just fun, just loads of fun.
I'm already depressed, and I've been in this interview. Wow, I'm so sorry, Dylan.
Yeah. But it's good for our age.
Learn
For
stuff.
our age, we kind of suck though. Otherwise. Oh yeah, and also I completely realized we lied to you last time we went on the show. We told you we were gonna write a heavy record, and I mean lyrical content heavy, but I mean we were like, all right, yeah, we're gonna write some super sludgy riffs and all this stuff. We're still sitting on some of those songs and entertaining the idea of doing them, but throwing weird stuff at them, doing synths, all that. But we ended up getting a keyboard, and we were like, all right, cool, we can play some of the little keyboard parts on the first record, and it just kind of became what it became.
So let's talk about the new members. You've added Evan, and you've got Jake now. So these two guys, I know Jake's here with us, but what's adding these two guys brought to this band? It may have been missing, possibly, if anything.
Evan played drums on the last record, and after that, we got Jacob to do drums, and we had so much guitar parts and synth parts and stuff like that. We just got Evan to do all of that stuff. Evan wasn't really a drummer in the first place. We just kind of asked him if he would do that because we couldn't find anybody or anything, and he was like, well, I mean, I don't really play drums, but I'll do it. So it just kind of worked out like that.
I feel adding Jake to our lineup here, it was a major contribution to our sound in general because he had already had his own thing. He's experienced with all these with all the electronic music, and because of that, Dylan started getting into it, and Dylan started messing with all these synthesizers, and well, we are where we are today. Bringing Evan with us, he's really helped out a whole lot because our parts became more numerous and more complex, and we just needed someone to fill the role for us, and he was perfect because he's a hell of a guitar player, and he can play some keys pretty well too, so he's been a great help.
Basically, adding both of them gave us the room to do anything we wanted to instead of having to put ourselves in a box and just say, well, we would do this, but we don't really have the team for it. But now we do.
Another cool thing with Jake, I'm not saying it's just because Jake's here, but I mean he's been in other bands too, so he knows what the format is, what you're looking for. You don't have to talk to him like 3 or 4 times. I mean, he knows what you're looking for.
He's our papa, and we love him.
Oh, Papa.
That's my grandbabies. I wish you could see them right now. They're so pretty.
Oh my God. So did this album give you more freedom to explore your musical roots, as in style influences like blues, metal, rock, punk, whatever, versus The Pursuit of Happiness? And can we expect the same music and sound from Mirror Image forward? Is this what you're looking for in this band sound?
Well, with The Pursuit of Happiness, I mean, I basically wrote it in high school, so it was more of just a wearing our influences on our sleeve type of album, whereas this one, it's finding out who we are musically and growing into that. And on the next record, honestly, I mean, it'll be more synth stuff and weird stuff and guitar things, but
It's going to be ska. The next record is ska.
Yeah.
We done bought 7 trumpets. It's going to be ska.
Yeah.
Like honestly, to me, this record is like it implements a lot of the influences that we already had, but it feels more like us, if that makes any sense. Like Feel Better, to me, it feels like an Elvis Costello song if he could write grunge and pull it off, or like, and I mean there are the heavy moments. We got Prisoner, which is like, all right, we wrote a Nickelback song on accident. Oh shit, how do we make it not that?
No Nickelback, no.
Preach.
Negative.
But
Negative.
yeah, I don't know. Like with this one, when I came in, I was like, let's just try something totally different. And each of us come from kind of different backgrounds. So like, I'm primarily a drummer, but like I can't play any other instruments. Like, so I started messing around with electronic music in college, and yeah, so that's kind of where my heart is. Where you've got Mark, and Mark's a guitar guy, so he's doing all that crazy guitar stuff, listening to the Smiths and the Cure and things like that. And Dylan's kind of grungy, so he's brought that. And then Purvis is a classic rock man. And you have all those things come together, and we're like, yeah, let's just try to make something with all these backgrounds, put it together, and see what we can do.
Honestly, as weird as it sounds, Star Trek was probably my biggest influence on this whole record. That's not even a joke. It's crazy how much Star Trek influenced this record.
Voyager or Next Gen?
Voyager is the best, but I do love Next Gen. And Picard is the best captain, I think. But Janeway's a bad bitch.
Our girl Janeway.
John Chaney produced this album as well, and he worked on the last one before. How is working with him, especially a familiar face who knows what you're looking for, pretty much?
It makes things a lot easier because, where we're really close to John, I mean, we can talk to him really easy, and he knows what we want pretty much. That, and I mean, he probably spent every bit of 20 hours alone just working on Klingon War Dance. I mean, he puts in the time and the work into the songs that it needs, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't figure he would be on board to do this record because it was just so out there in left field for him. And like he seemed a little salty about it at first, but we got him in. We got him on board. We let him come and hear us up with tracks and showed him some of the new songs. He hadn't really sat down and got to hear them fully fleshed out. And he was like, "All right, yeah, I understand. We're gonna do this." And like he put in the time. He was always open to try out weird stuff. I mean, we have Microsoft Sam group vocals on our record. We have like vocals reamped through like fuzz pedals and octave pedals and just like all sorts of weird stuff going on. And like some of it, like we wouldn't have tried unless John was like, "All right, yeah, let's throw it out there."
Put it off for the glon.
All for the Galon.
Well, it's nice working with John again because because John was always someone who is he learned a lot from our first album, and that recording that first album with us, he was able to get on board real easily with the second one because this time he knew exactly what he was doing, and working with him, he was able to give advice as much as he could for what he knew, and it was really helpful to us.
So Becca Chaney did the cover photo. I want to talk about this cover photo. How did this even come about? What were you even looking for?
Well, it was kind of like after my divorce, the only thing left in the apartment was that couch. So I figured it would be neat to do that because it's kind of which I didn't ever aim to write any songs about any specific thing. I promise I didn't. I just sat in a car for hours and just let my subconscious completely do the talking. That's where all of this came from. But at the end, it all kind of wrapped up and made sense. So I figured, well, might as well do that. That would make sense.
What do you hope, guys, everyone takes away from the new album, or message you hope to hear while listening to it, or just any of Mirrored Images music in general? What do you hope that anyone gets from this?
Watch Star Trek Voyager.
Subliminal messages.
That we're good for our age and that marriage sucks.
I want people to really take away, especially local musicians, I want them to realize they don't have to be afraid to do something different. Everything's not all about country.
Yes.
Not everything's all about bluegrass. Get out there, try something different. That's what we want people to know.
Yes, amen. That is it, what Purvis
that is
said.
exactly it.
Yep.
Ding, ding, ding.
And a lot of folks are too scared to take that step forward, and I don't get it.
The reason we're scared to have a music scene is because nobody's out there trying anything. We're stuck in the 60s.
That's true.
If we go to a show, sometimes it's really good or it's really bad. When people don't get it, it's real bad. Especially wearing makeup every once in a while, and eventually we'll probably go in drag a few times.
Just weird stuff. Yeah, just throw all sorts of stuff at the wall, see what sticks.
Yeah.
Well, it's about taking risks, and it's like right now, I don't know, the local music climate, it does seem like there is a I don't know, it's like people are afraid to take risks and things, and I play with a lot of bands, but this is my absolute favorite one to play with, and people ask me why, and with this band I can come in and I can say, hey, grunge band. Let's bring a synth thing. Let's bring some synths in. Let's bring some keyboards in. Let's use a computer, like a laptop while we play live. And other bands are like, no, man, we're this or we're that. And with these guys, they're open to that. They're like, hey, let's try it. If it sucks, it sucks. If it's good, it's good. So I would so much rather play with a band like this and make something that's meaningful to me as opposed to just going out and playing the same 5 songs for, this like 40 drunk people just screaming, yeah, buddy, yeah. It's like, I'd rather so much do that and make something that's meaningful to me,
And it's just like Dylan said, about the concert you guys had or the show you had last night. There was like 20 people there at this. I mean, that's pretty sad. I mean, I bitch about having the scene and I don't go out as much because I'm just a hermit. That's just me. But it's not like I don't want to support it. It's I do. I love all these bands. But for the younger generation, they should be hitting these shows like crazy because I remember when I was going to high school and grade school, when we had these shows, everybody was at these shows. I mean, they were 75 to 100 people, even more at these shows. And it was absolutely killer. And now it's just
Well,
dead.
with a lot of what I see whenever I go watch people and stuff is that, most of the time people are really nervous and stuff like that. And I completely get it because I was for a long time. But at this point now, I mean, whenever you come watch us, you're going to have a fun time. I promise you. I mean, it might be us screaming in makeup or doing whatever weird we decide to do that night. But I promise you, if you come up with me and you dance with me and you get wild with me, then we're going to have a good time. I think that's a lot of it, is that you got, no matter if there's 5 people there or whatever, if you're playing at a park, if you're playing inside some school, whatever it is, you need to give it everything you've got. I think some people forget that.
Do you see yourself still musically growing from where you started, or has it just been more of a personal growth for all of you guys still involved in this?
I think it's a lot of both, really. I mean, there's going to be, I can only imagine the music getting weirder. I want to make it as weird as I can possibly make it, but still listenable. Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's like with this album, it was definitely a musical growth for everybody. And just continuing on that path, it's like, and I guess that's for every musician. It's like, don't stop growing, just continue listening to different stuff and going out of your norm. I mean, I've recently discovered that I love Hebrew pop from the 80s from Israel. That stuff is incredible. It really is. So, I don't know. It's like, Don't just pigeonhole yourself listening to like just one thing. Like just go out of your norm and find something. Listen to some. I don't know. If you don't listen to bluegrass, try it. It's just gonna make you a better musician, anyways. You're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys. Yeah. Hebrew punk. Oh,
Giddy Gove. He is the Bruce Springsteen of Israel.
Oh my
I
God.
showed him to you.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
Exactly. See what I tell you.
Oh my God. Do you like to do anything differently when you're coming into the recording studio during the writing and recording process? I know this is 2 different concepts, but do you like to do anything differently that helps you to keep your mind fresh and open, to not let the music get stale or get bored with it? I know you have to step away, but is there anything that lets you do that to get you back on track again?
I think with just what the music is, it's really hard to get bored with it, especially when you don't understand it, because it's all new to you and stuff like that, and you don't really know what you're doing. So, I mean, the whole process is just, it's fun. It's interesting.
I feel like this is the Dylan interview.
Honestly, whenever we're in the process of recording, you just have like long hours of like just roaring amps behind you all day, or like just hearing the same parts on loop for whatever reason, trying to get like perfect tones. And I probably listen to less music when we're recording. But once like the mix comes around and we have the opportunity to throw in weird stuff, like it's just all ideas there.
So we're living in the digital era, guys. I know you're still a young band, but do you like this that we're in to get music out quicker? And plus we got social media now to reach out to more folks. Do you like this?
I like a lot of it, but I also dislike a lot of it because a lot of it has to do with, all right, can we get Spotify curators to put us in their playlists, and can we do this and can we do that, and can we get our stuff on Instagram ads and all that. But it's also easy to discover stuff, but like there's so much stuff, it's hard to find anything that's any count at all. Like I can't tell you how much garbage SoundCloud rap I've had to filter through to find cool stuff.
Well, it's a quality over quantity thing for sure, backwards. Oh, but I mean, the cool thing about it is I think a lot of people are really more diverse in everything they listen to now, because no matter what type of genre you want to like, you can go on the internet, and I mean, if you're searching for a good country song and you absolutely hate country, I promise you, if you look hard enough, you can find it because there's so many different versions of that at this point that genres are almost, there's no point to even calling it something.
Yeah, there's so much stuff out there, and you know, I go through this every single day because I have to listen to a lot of stuff, which I love. I love listening to a lot of stuff, but there's a lot of stuff that you have to filter through just to say, okay, well, these 5 bands sound the same.
Right.
Every chord sounds the same, and then one you get that sticks out, it's like, oh, it's different. You put that to the side. It's just, it's hard, man. It's so hard for any band out there right now.
I gotta say though, since I'm older, I remember the times when before you didn't have YouTube, and so you had the radio and you had MTV.
Yeah.
And it's like I remember a lot of times when I'd go buy cassette tapes and stuff and CDs, if it had a cool cover art and I was like, this looks cool, you'd buy it just taking like a risk.
Yep.
And sometimes you might end up with absolute gold. Sometimes you might end up with trash, and sometimes you might end up with the album. It's like, oh, 3 of these 12 songs are good, but the rest of it sucks. But
Right.
I kind of miss that mystique. But I will say, by the time I'd got to college and, YouTube had just been invented or whatever, and you had iTunes, it's like it just opened up this whole world of finding new music and new styles and things. And so, I don't know, like I'm half and half. I do miss the mystery of that, and I do miss like the focus on like actually owning the album, holding it in your hands. But I also do like the ability, like, oh, this band's dropping an album, like, they can get them out quicker, and and you can hold more music on a phone nowadays than, if I had to carry around my Walkman again, my big CD booklet case that we all had.
For sure. Yeah, and like you said, man, it does take the mystique out of these bands. I remember having to wait to go and find, Hit Parader and Circus Magazine and Revolver and Guitar World and stuff like that just to find out the next Guns N' Roses video or Def Leppard or whatever. That was cool to me because I had to wait. I had to wait till the next issue came out. And now it's just like, well, here's Slash's dog. Here's his. This is what he looks like in his swimming trunks. I don't care. I don't care. Is there a country, guys, that stands out or even shocks you that Mirrored Image gets support from or your music even gets played in? Have you seen anything possibly from overseas, maybe or just anywhere in general?
I think London.
Yeah.
Ballroom Blitz Radio in England. Yeah.
Really? So how'd that make you feel, though, from somebody from overseas to say, hey, we want to play your music on our air over here?
That was really cool, and I think that comes from another thing of bringing up the last topic, the internet. It wouldn't be possible without it.
That's very true. That's very true. Me and Jake, buddy, we go back. We go back in the day. So for each of you, and I know this is going to change. I don't know if I asked you this last time, but I probably did, but who cares? Is there a band on the bucket list for you guys that you'd like to work with, tour with, or maybe even do an old school album split with, possibly?
Foxing.
Foxing? Oh, okay.
If you haven't heard of Foxing, you need to check them out. Or Smidley. The 1975 would also be cool, but I don't see that ever happening.
Probably the band Crying. Really, like they were one of my biggest influences on this record.
Honestly, this probably won't ever happen either, but Pale Waves is real cool. And that'd be really, really amazing to like ever play with them.
Agreed. Pale Waves is awesome. Go listen to Pale Waves. Whoever's listening to me now, Pale Waves, listen to them.
You guys have some shows coming up here in the next couple of months. Let's talk about that a little bit. What all do you have coming down the pipe so far?
Right now, we've got the Blue Parrot on August 3rd, The Silence and the Stars in Charleston.
I do want to ask this because I know you write a lot, Dylan. I know you write a ton of stuff. Do you have any in the can for another album right now, or what's going on?
Yeah, I have 40 songs.
Wow.
Yeah, I write a whole lot. I get a really huge idea in my head and start going after it and then realize, oh, yeah, our album's not out yet. And I've got 2 more.
Oh, wow. They will do a heavy album, guys, and they will dedicate it to me. Wait and see.
It'll happen eventually, I'm
Wait and
sure.
see.
The next one I want to find somehow mix Elliott Smith and synth pop together. That is my goal.
I was just going to say, for whenever we do our heavy record, we got to put the BODS Mayhem Hour seal of approval in the bottom corner or something.
It's fine by me.
Yes.
That's fine by me. I've always supported you guys since day one, so.
You have.
You know.
Awesome, bod.
So how can folks, of course, stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, tour dates, things like that? How can they do that?
We're mostly active on our Instagram, but we're Facebook too. So Facebook and Instagram, Mirrored Image Music. If you want to go to there on Instagram or Facebook, just find us there. There's all kinds of crazy pictures and things, and we'll post whatever we're doing. We'll be on there. And you can get our new CD right now at shows, but they are carrying it at Mountain Music, and they're also offering it online. So if you don't want to talk to people, and you don't want to leave your house, you can totally order it online. So that's pretty cool. If you don't want to go to Spotify or iTunes to find it, which it's there too, but if you want a physical copy, yeah, and we're hoping to do a limited run of cassette tapes. So we're really hoping to do that. But right now we've gone on CD. Vinyl would be awesome, but yeah, we got to make sure that people really want it to do if we do it on vinyl. But there's a possibility we'll do like maybe 30 to 50 cassette tapes, and but yeah.
I'm not dancing. I can't dance. You see this dance, I hurt stuff. Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show?
I'm Dylan Belcher.
I'm Jake Ratliff.
I'm Marcus Chaney.
I'm Elijah Purvis.
And we are Mirrored Image, and you're listening to
BODS Mayhem Hour.
Woo!
Everybody stick around. We got some great stuff coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Please get out. Check out our Facebook page. It's got our podcast link, YouTube link, and hopefully soon our Twitch link. And also get out and check out Mirrored Image. You will not be disappointed in these gentlemen. Great stuff coming out of Eastern Kentucky as always. So thank you guys so much for always coming on the show and being supportive.
One time, me and Ethel went to see the G.G. Allen. We thought, oh, this will be a fun experience. And then he pooped on us. You're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram